Mr. Tylor Gentry, welcome to Coffee Talk, my man. How are you?
Yeah, living the dream, man. It is a beautiful, sunny morning, and blessed to talk to you, blessed to talk to the audience, blessed to just have breath, you know?
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, man. How about it, man? It's been
it's
yesterday was the first day I was able to get out and have a beer with some of my family outside on the deck, and we got together just because, and everyone was happy, bro. Everyone was
man,
just smiling.
it's almost like everybody was like literally in prison, and you get out of prison, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, I never thought I'd see you again."
It's like a big party. Like the person comes,
Yeah,
picks you up in the car, like, "What's up?" You know, you get your you get your duds on. Everyone's all
like
dressed up.
like coming home from a airplane ride or something. Everybody's like, "Hey, come on in. Remember us?"
Welcome to
So
the first episode of Coffee Talk, man. I'm glad you
yeah,
are. I mean, I couldn't think of a better guest to have on for the first Coffee Talk, my man.
I'm honored, man. There's two things I love to do is talk and coffee. So
Right? You got
I'm
anything?
for it.
Is there anything special in the cup today, or just the
Not
normal?
today, man. Not today. We left the Jack Daniels alone. It's Sunday, so I figured we'd just kind of hang out. Um, you know, low sugar, trying to stay as healthy as possible. Uh, I
Yeah,
have this weird.
Carrie Ann makes her. She makes her cold brew for us. She bought like this pot.
Nice.
It's got the cylinder in it. You fill it with the grounds and you soak it overnight or like 48 hours type thing.
Yeah.
And
So you guys are pretty avid coffee drinkers, I'm assuming.
She has a huge addiction to cold brew anything.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm gonna buy this thing. I'm like, hey, you do it. So she buys like these special grounds, and she's actually she's slowly like figuring out what grounds work the best. So I think she's taking a little niche in it, you know.
And by default, you're a coffee drinker, so you have to be because of
I'm a caffeine
Yeah.
drinker, man.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
as soon as I get up to, as soon as I go to bed, man, there's caffeine always in my system.
I agree.
Like literally, I remember so many times before this quarantine, I was so busy with work. I would literally like grab a 3D, fucking chug that down, eat some lunch, and like I could feel myself dozing off. I'm like, hey, this isn't good. This isn't good. But
Get a 3D. Yeah, it was getting bad. I was doing it probably. Gosh, I drink about. I'm not promoting this, but I drink about 4 or 5 cups of coffee in the morning, and then hit to work. As soon as I get to work, I'll have another cup of coffee. Then throughout the day, I'm still drinking water, and then I'll have probably 2-3 Ds in a day.
Yeah,
It's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah,
It's like
I think you could. I think you can do that with like the basic coffee, like at home. You know, like your pods or whatever. You can have a bunch of those. I don't think there's much caffeine in those. I mean, for someone who drinks caffeine, when you have those, you're like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why, you know, you and I go to the 3Ds because we know that's like a really good form of caffeine.
It's a good jump. It's a good jump. I've been researching. Excuse me. I'm gonna order some. It's a company called Four Sigmatic Coffee, and it's like it has lion's mane in it, very nootropic based. And I'm gonna give it a shot. I've heard some of the flavors are kind of weird, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm all about that. Like
check out Strong Coffee as well. They just actually became just got the sponsorship for my podcast as well through Strong Coffee.
Yeah.
Code every day is 15% off. They have there's protein in it, there's MCT oil in it, you know, so it's not like super nootropic based, but it gives you that good,
still healthy.
Super healthy stuff, like super healthy stuff.
Especially with MCT oil. There's
dude, yeah.
So
it's great to have first thing in the morning, you know, have those good healthy fats for your brain function in the morning. It's 100%, man. Plus, coffee is the most diluted and stepped on thing in the world, man. Next to like money, you know, like coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee gets like annihilated in the market, and if you get really good grounds, there's a humongous difference, man. Humongous.
Yeah,
difference.
that's something that I've never. I've always loved to. I've always like wanted to get more info on just coffee in general because it's so much better for us than freaking 3Ds and bangs and all that other shit. I'd rather drink coffee all day anyway. But yeah, that's something I'll have to dive into, and it's strong coffee, right?
Strong coffee. Yeah,
such a good name.
Oh my god, it's so perfect, ain't it?
How was that not taken?
I don't know.
They looked into that.
How do you like your coffee? Strong. Hey, I have an idea. How about
Hey, what if we just called our company Strong Coffee? Wow, James.
Jay, get on it. Start drawing it up.
Make a logo.
So T, I want to have the community touch base a little bit and reintroduce yourself again, since you're on the podcast quite a bit ago, and there's been over 20 episodes since. I'm so blessed to be able to say that.
Which, dude, honestly, every one of them gets better and better.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you're crushing it. I love listening to them. I don't get to listen to them as much as I like to, but definitely when I'm in the work mode, I'll throw it on and just kind of zone out and listen. And it's so just insight and all that stuff. You have a great perspective on a lot of stuff, and I love it.
Thank you, man. That means a ton coming from you, bro. That means
awesome.
a ton.
That's why we link, because it's just it's good to have strong people in your corner. And it's,
dude, 100%. It's like, I mean, that is what it is, right? You just got to keep putting it out there and keep the good people around you. And you're only as strong as the weakest link. You know, you can say as many cliche fucking things as you want, but when it comes down to it, man, the more people you have around you that are in the same focus and the same mindset as you are, man, there is no ceiling. Like I just had a conversation on a podcast with my buddy, Rami, who lost his father. And we talked all about that in a couple episodes ago. And we're talking about this fitness and nutrition and this entrepreneur thing. Like there is no ceiling to this. So the more people you can get in your corner, man, are just gonna. There's no end to it.
And honestly, I think that the reason that those sayings are cliche is because they're they're tried and true. Everyone says them all the time. Is because they get the title of cliche is because everyone says them and then they end up being true. Therefore, it's like, oh, I'm just beating a dead horse. And it's like, no, it's actually real. Like you can actually use this towards your life. So it's actually pretty informative.
It's awesome. That's true. That's true.
But I'm Tylor Gentry. I'm CEO and founder of a clothing company called Ambition Threads. It is a motivating lifestyle clothing brand, empowering individuals to be the best version of themselves with hard work, faith, and persistence, which is why the triangle is separated 3 ways. That's what brought me to the dance, man. That's what gave me this whole, just a quick little backstory. I lost a best friend in 2013. I was a motocross racer for 19 years. Did that, got hurt a lot. Also learned a whole bunch. Lost my best friend in 2013 and kind of just hit the reset button on life. You know, I was kind of I don't want to say a cocky shithead, but I was almost a cocky shithead, just kind of thinking that life is whatever. But now it's more or less I wake up with purpose, and that's where all this kind of created from. So now it's more self-empowerment, empowering individuals. Every person I come in contact with, I try and leave my mark. I equate life to a lot of bathroom signs, which is there's a bathroom sign in the airplanes when you travel, and it says be sure to leave the bathroom the way you left it or better than you left it before. And that really speaks, you know, it's oddly enough, it's come from an airplane bathroom, but that does speak volumes, and that's how I kind of treat life. I want to leave it better than I found it before. So
that's awesome.
That's me. Man. That's me in a nutshell.
Legacy, buddy. Legacy. It's always it's always one of those things that you should always be worried about people that are going to show up at your funeral, right? Absolutely. Like that's the most important thing, you know, and then that goes to show you, like I've been to so many funerals in my lifetime. It's at my age, it sucks, but the ones that you do go to and there's lines out the door and there's people waiting for hours and hours. It's like something happened here. And then, you know, it's a weird perspective on a bad thing in life, but it's actually a celebration of oneself after, you know, you go on to the next life. It's like, man, like look how many people are here, bro. You know, It's like the legacy is amazing, man.
It's something to look forward to, as oddly enough as it sounds, and it really is. People put a stigma on funerals and they're sad, and I get that everyone gets the sadness of it. But what really, and you know, the sad ones are like my best friend Casey, for instance. He was 19 years old. Those are like, man, he had so much life to live, you know. But really, at the end of the day, it's everything's here. There's a purpose for it all, you know. And it was his time to go. It's those people's time to go, and that's what it should always be about. It's a celebration. And honestly, that's what I learned that from my grandfather. My grandfather still instills that with me. He's 80 years old, and dude, he's a hustler, still at 80, and he always says that. He's always like, man, I want there to be so many people at my funeral that you can't even get in. And I'm like, me? I'm your grandson. Like, I have to go, you know, like, and it means a lot, you know. And Kevin Hart, I've been researching him a lot lately, and he has a very interesting perspective. And he always talks about his book. Like, what does your book look like? Like, at the end of the day, when somebody closes your book, is it a good read, or is it one of those reads that's like, it's all right? And so every day I wake up and I'm like, all right, it's chapter 4. Let's rock and roll, you know?
I like that perspective too. It's like, are you gonna tell someone about that book? You can let someone borrow that book and, you know, pay it forward in that way, or you're just gonna throw it back on your shelf and have it collect dust. That's a really cool way to look at life, man.
It's unbelievable, man. Like listening to it spoke to me, and I was like, man, that's a that's a good way to wake up and kind of get that fire going every morning. It's like, all right, I'm still writing a book. Like, you're not the crazy thing. And I don't know, I'm not an author by any means, but the crazy thing about writing a book is it takes decades sometimes, you know, like Think and Grow Rich is like one book that stands out to me that I've read multiple times. And it's like, that book took years and years to write. And that's the way you look at life, is that it's going to take forever to write your book. So you might as well just like begin each day with a purpose. Every step is a purpose.
Yeah. And it says something about, you know, it truly says something about oneself too, to try to just do one thing a day. Of course, I'm not saying every single day you have to hustle your ass off. Like, we all know there's a good hustle and there's a really bad way to hustle too. Absolutely. And it's like one of those things, like just 1% better, bro, just 1% better every day. And that's the best part about it. You know, like that one step, that one little 1% better, man, it adds up. I mean, it will add up.
It does. I completely agree. It every day. Yeah. You don't have to grind your teeth in every day, but there are things that build on life. And that's, to me, you know, it took me a while to realize this, but like, you know, having a stepdaughter and stuff like that really puts it in perspective. It's like, you know, some days it's great to go and work till 8 or 9 p.m. at night, but other days it's also great to work till 2 p.m. and then us get on the slip and slide in the backyard for a couple hours. That not only builds her up because it has me and her mom in her life, but it also builds me up and her mom up because we're learning from that, whatever it might be. So there's always something you can twist. That's a perspective thing, you know, for sure.
Oh, 100%. So, dude, how's everything going with the new launch? How did that go?
Dude,
with the new clothing launch?
So this Camo collection has been a freaking banger. Like,
really?
The shirts are just cool. Came up with that concept actually a year ago. I've been sitting on that design forever, and I was like, man, we need to just like spice it up a little bit. We need a little bit of, you know, kind of jumping a past the comfort zone a little. So launched those camo tees and just sold out of the first batch, reordered the second batch. We're working our halfway through that now. We did a photo shoot with it yesterday, and just it inspired me to come more out of my comfort zone. I really think there for a while with this whole quarantine stuff, it threw me for a whirlwind, man. I was in a weird place and just down and out and couldn't get motivated. I couldn't, you know, there was just so many different things and then I got on this whole pity party and all that. And I launched that. And then a couple of days later, I kind of started coming out of this funk, and then just kind of prayed a little bit and was just like, you know what, I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to live out of my comfort zone. And that's what we did. And now, like, all these designs are just sparking up, like that signature tee with the mint. Like, the mint has been selling like crazy. The long sleeves have been selling like crazy. I mean, everything has been just on the up and up, and it's been a huge blessing. Like, the whole fam is amazing, and everybody that's been promoting it, but it's been busy as shit. And I love it.
Good, man. That's awesome. Because you had so much come out, man. Like,
yeah.
I was like, damn, this is a launch and a half. This isn't just a couple pieces, man. You're talking men's and women's pieces, dude. Yeah, like, I was like, dude, he's going for it, man.
That's always scary. You know, it's always the upfront cost for all that. It's always so much money, you know, and it's like, that scares you. And then the world famous question of like, man, yeah, I designed it and everything, but like, how do I know people are going to love it? That's always been the number one fear of the brand, is like, I know it's cool, and I know a few people would think it's cool, but a few people don't build a brand. Like, it takes a family of people, you know what I mean? And that's always a big fear. But it's been, I mean, everybody seems to love it, and I'm blessed to call every single person a family member. Like, it's so cool. I had a crazy story for you. Yesterday, a friend of mine DM'd me, and she was like, hey, the coolest thing just happened to me. I was in Asheville, North Carolina, and she's doing trails. Her and her boyfriend were doing trails, I think, and was walking up the trail, and she was wearing an Ambition tank top, and somebody in Asheville, North Carolina stopped her and was like, hey, I know that guy, and that is the coolest brand ever.
No.
And like, they hugged it up. Yeah, dude, hugged it out, left, and I was like, this is a long message I'm reading. I'm sitting here tearing up in bed, and I'm like, this is the craziest thing ever.
Whoa.
So it's like, the coolest thing I'm getting out of all this is that when you have something that you personally stand for, and you could put it on something, it will resonate with hopefully millions, but now thousands. And it's just the coolest thing in the world. People are just cool. I love stories. I love hearing stuff like that. It's just, that's what I've all grabbed from all of this. So
yeah, man, millions is going to come faster than you think, man, because you guys, it's more and more people are starting to wear it. The content you're creating, the people that are sharing it, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts. Like I said, I wouldn't do it with, you, Carrie Ann. I mean, this whole journey has just been crazy. Like, I have the conversation all the time. I could die tomorrow and be the happiest guy alive. Like, it would just be, happiest guy alive. If I died tomorrow, I wouldn't be alive. But it's just been a crazy journey so far. And we're so far from even scratching the surface of even beginning. I feel like there's so much to go on. It's just like this is step one. It still feels surreal, honestly.
Yeah, it's awesome. And congratulations on the launch, man. I mean, everything looks great.
Thank you.
With the new Camo Collection now, with that print on the front, is it kind of like is that like a nice big, is it a heavy patch or is it like a lighter patch?
Yeah, so I would say it's pretty mid-grade, like right in the middle. I was worried about the heavy because there's like multiple styles of print. So we did make it kind of mid-grade to where it is, you can feel it. But we were outside shooting all day yesterday, and it was hot where you are. It was hot where we are too. I didn't lose you, did I?
No, you're good.
Sorry. But no, I think it's perfect. Like it's going to be hot if you're standing outside, regardless of what you have on. But no, I thought it was great, and the models that we're all shooting, everybody thought it was pretty smooth, and it helps that the fabric's really good and breathable.
So have you heard? Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like even like having the Windbreaker, I can't take that damn thing off, man. It's an easy go-to, bro. It's just such an easy piece. It's perfect. It's the perfect windbreaker where you don't heat up in it. You can wear it outside on a nice, easy day. I mean, Carrie Ann has it on right now. It's like, we're always like, hey, who's wearing it? You wearing it?
Yeah. Don't match me.
Don't match me. Damn it. We can't be that person. So have you seen it? Go ahead.
I was just saying that it just, the Windbreakers are to me, there's been pivotal moments in the brand's history so far. And one of them, the leggings, when the leggings released, was just absolutely crazy. They're, in my opinion, I'm a little biased, but they're just great. Like they're unbelievable. I need to get Carrie Ann a pair so she can see. But the leggings are fantastic. And then the Windbreakers are probably the second, it's more of an establishment thing. Like leggings were there.
It's funny you said that. It's funny you say it because it's like, I feel like that piece, it not just also stands out from all the other pieces that you've created in the past and going in the future also. But that piece, it's weird because we were talking about being outside your comfort zone in the beginning of this podcast, but it's like that piece to me, I feel like that's way out of your comfort zone, but it turns out to be like, it's almost like a pipital piece for right now in the company. Like it's a pivotal piece.
Pivotal is the perfect word because of that. Like, starting out, you have a vision. I am a firm believer, especially now, the more and more I dive into business, your vision changes every day. There's a goal that you were trying to obtain, and that goal for us has always been, motivate and inspire through what you do and tell your story. But that goal and all these other goals and visions, these all down here will always shift and always pivot. And that's a perfect example. I never in my life, I can tell you, I grew up lower middle class. I don't even know what a windbreaker at one point was. Like, we didn't buy outerwear and things like that. And I was like, man, I don't really wear them. I don't know. And I'm the same now. I wear at least a windbreaker every day. At some point, somehow, I got a windbreaker on. It's just a weird, it's just a good lesson to learn, man. It's just good. No matter what, like, you have a goal, no matter what goes on back here or goes on, everything's going to shift and everything's going to pivot. But at the end of the day, as long as your eyes are on the goal, you're going to get there how you get there,
Oh, 100%, man. Have you seen any, any delay? Are you straight USA based now too? You don't see anything coming from, do you have anything comes from overseas or?
Yeah. So we have a few orders overseas. I know I have a couple friends that live in Canada. I have a couple friends that live in Alaska, which oddly enough is the same hurdle. But yeah, not as many overseas orders yet, just because we haven't really branched out into that market yet. How we've been tackling marketing and stuff like that is local. You being local, obviously, because within the states, I would say within the surrounding area of Tennessee, I guess, is our main focus now. Like, it started in Murfreesboro, where I'm from, and then kind of just expand it out. So now we're kind of like phase 2 of, let's get some stuff out to Chicago and to Denver. Like I know I got a couple buddies in Denver that live there, and LA and shit like that. So it's kind of like that's the bigger orders we're getting now is out of state and stuff like that. But I'm not against jumping over hurdles to get stuff overseas or to other countries and stuff. It's just difficult, especially right now. With all this craziness going on. Everybody's kind of got their hands up. Nobody knows what to do as far as that side of the logistics and stuff like that. Yeah.
So speaking of logistics, are you a USA based company, or do you get products coming from overseas and like in shipments and stuff, or are you like finding that to be a hurdle too, to even like get stuff in right now?
Yeah. So we have a manufacturer. We do probably 40% overseas, 60% USA based. And obviously the USA stuff is pretty quick. Turnaround is, 14 days is usually our cap. But yeah, getting stuff overseas, I'm finding that the hurdle now is just the waiting game, because they were so backed up previous that when they got back to work, it was like they were working probably 24 hours. Like it was just crazy. Right. So that's really our main thing now. We have a lot of stuff coming as far as like some custom pieces like gym cutoffs and leggings and stuff that are already in the queue ready. We're just playing the waiting game, but it's not too much longer. I actually spoke with the manufacturer this morning, so we're looking at a probably 45-day turnaround now, which is pretty normal.
Okay. Yeah, that's not that bad. I mean, we're waiting anyway, right? I mean, it's
and that's a normal. Like I said, 30 to 45 days is usually our cap on that. So a little bit of friction, but nothing crazy. I was also pretty smart with the ordering. Like you kind of keep it all in perspective. You're like, okay, look, like I get it. Like everybody's going through all this shit, so we're just gonna kind of hang out and do our thing,
Right. Can you give us a sneak peek of what's coming on the plate next, man? You got anything in the works?
So those gym cutoffs, we came out with those. We came out with V1 2 years ago, and they were good. These are great. The cool thing that we're doing with these is we have the Ambition set, and then we're also doing a cool collab with a local gym. That's a pretty big gym. We're going to do a collab with them and do some custom pieces for them, custom colorways and stuff that are actually they're doing a whole line with us. So we're doing the Ambition X gym, and it's going to be like, they're doing some lifestyle shirts, some cutoff shirts, some leggings, and then another women's piece.
Are they going to hang some of that stuff in the gym then?
So they have 2 locations. Well, they have 1 location now. They're building their second location, and they're building a third location simultaneously with their second in Texas. So they have 2 Tennessee, 1 Texas. One of their partners is Mr. Olympia, Brandon Curry.
Wow,
and their second partner is Steve and Amanda Kuklo.
Really?
Yeah. So big names obviously going to be partnering, and there's also some big influencers that are going to be a part of this too. So that'll help catapult us, at least speaking from the fitness side of things. That'll be a big deal. A lot of big names repping.
That's awesome, man. Well, that's a huge
it'll be cool. Yeah. It's been big. Yeah. It's been a long process, just hurdle after hurdle, and then Corona hit. So we all just kind of like stood back for a minute. But finally got that ball rolling. It'll be a cool summer for sure. A lot of cool content too.
Hell yeah, I bet. I'm sure you're already taking pictures. Stuff.
So yeah, it's sick. What about this coffee talk, man? I'm digging this. Anytime, like I said, anytime I can do anything for you or with you or anything, I'm here. I'm ready. I love this stuff.
Yeah, man. So it's just. I've just been nailing the podcast. And I sat on the phone. I do a lot of phone calls. Like I've always, I'm always reaching out to you like, hey, you got time just to hop on a phone call. Right. Cause it's not just a friendship thing too, but it's like, we have to bounce these ideas off of each other, especially in the entrepreneur world. Like the more we talk about things before the end of this conversation, something's going to happen. It's just, it's automatic.
A solution to be found.
Yeah, in anything. It could be just in what I'm going to do today. You know what I'm saying? Like I value all of that. And it's just another way to grow with you as well as we should all be growing every single day. And this is just another way to grow, right? Without having this conversation with you over coffee, I'd probably just be sitting here, so I might as well exercise the brain fluid a little bit.
No, absolutely.
I've been pounding out the podcast for so much. I've done, I think since the beginning of quarantine, I think I almost counted 20 episodes. And I was on the phone with trying to. I was on the phone with Andrew Calvino, our good friend Andrew, last week. And we were talking, and I'm like, hey, man, let's have some coffee talk. So I sent him a Zoom, a Zoom chat. And we started talking, and I'm like, he started laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing about? He goes, well, I thought you saw my YouTube channel. I'm like, I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. He's like, yeah, I used to sit down every Sunday and do something called Coffee Talk. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. He's like, you got to be shitting me. So as soon as he said that, I'm talking to him on my phone. I'm on the computer, and I look it up. I'm like, sure as shit, he's got a bunch of episodes of him. Just talking by himself, just talking about the day. He picked a topic and just went for it. So, and I said, man, that's really cool. We get off, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why can't I do Coffee Talk? Why can't I, just talk to somebody genius. And who knows what's going to come up with this conversation. So kind of stepping outside of the podcast world, and
do you follow Gary Vee?
Oh, for sure.
Do you know the tea time thing that he's been doing? It's genius. Like that's what I watch every one of those, at least snippets of them, it's just genius. It's good to, his is obviously more entrepreneur based and like entrepreneur questions, I guess, but I just love conversation. Like I think stories are, I have a couple of questions for you anyway, but I just think conversations, like you said, that they always find solutions, or they always pop up an idea, or, they're just conversations and stories are honestly what mold us. I really do believe that. I just think that without me hearing your story or you hearing my story, you wouldn't have come up with this idea, or you wouldn't have thought of this thought, or I wouldn't have done this to do, it's just all just kind of intertwines and does its thing. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. Just like it unlocks like potentially everything, you know what I'm saying? Without talking about it, it's just going to be locked away forever. Like you don't know, And it's almost like it's a decompression. Like for selfish reasons, this is a huge decompress for me today.
Absolutely.
Like starting this day out, like even like, I love the fact, and I already thought about this too. Like I love the fact that you're outside. I'm mad that I'm not. I'm like, next week when I do this again, I'm going to be outside. So, it's like, I gotcha. Have a little bit of difficulty here. Can you still hear me?
Got him.
There it is. Sorry. That's back. No worries.
You got to get out. You got to get outside. Vitamin D always helps.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, man, the background's going to be outside. I'm like, this is how it is, man. And that's the thing, just learn that. And I'm going to be outside next week. So it's going to be great. But yeah, it's just good.
I have two questions. Number one, what is your definition of ambition?
Oh man. So my definition for ambition would be every day.
Not the brand. I'm just saying overall life. When you hear the word ambition, what do you think, or what does it go to?
That's a go-to for me is to be better. Ambition is to go farther and push harder and do more each day. Like every day is a word that I've encompassed in my business and in my life is every day. And every day we have to have ambition. When I hear ambition, my immediately head goes to every day. And it's just like, you have to show that ambition every single day. You have to.
I love that. Here's my second question. This is my favorite question of all time. And when I do the Ambition podcast, this will be on there. This will be the final one. But I'm very curious on yours. As far as the overall program of Anthony J, what drives you more, the thrill of victory or the hating to lose? Like, do you love to win or do you hate to lose? That's a broad.
I love, I don't.
Losing and winning. Let me preface. Losing and winning is not like like it is a competition, but it's more or less like. So, for example, a win would be 20 podcasts during quarantine. A lose would be 19 podcasts during quarantine. You see what I'm saying? It's not necessarily like I won a trophy or I lost a race. It's more or less like, okay, it's what you count as wins and what you count as losses. What drives you more? The oh man, I get the win, or like, fuck, I'm not doing that again. Like I got to keep moving forward.
Correct. I cherish my L's, man. They're mine.
Okay.
They're mine and mine alone. I don't. Even when I do have small wins, Carrie Ann, my girlfriend, Carrie Ann is she's a testament to this. When I do win a little bit, like when I win a little bit, I'm not even happy at all. Like, it's one of those things where it's not even that big of a deal when I do win.
You paused out a little bit.
You gotcha?
Yep.
I said, Carrie Ann is a testament to, even when I do have those little wins like you were talking about, whether that be 20 podcasts or not, or even when I do have those, and she can totally attest to this, I'm happy for that long.
Yeah.
I think it's a double-edged sword. It's just something that's instilled in me. Like, I'm already, I know that the win is right here. I know it's going to happen here. And when I hit it, I'm already working over here.
Right.
It's a perfect point. She just brought it up today. I'm using her computer for this. And so she brought up my Google Calendar, right, to send you a link. Well, I have it set on monthly. And she goes, why do you have it set on monthly? I do mine by weekly. And I'm like, because I look at it in the bigger picture.
Yeah. Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So I look at the whole, I live my life day to day, but I'm already planning 30 days in advance.
Right. Were you an athlete? Anything like that?
When I was a young kid, but not like in the high school. Yeah.
Younger. Oh, okay. So pre-high school. Oh, hey puppy. Look at this thing. It's the neighbor's dog.
Is it really?
Come on, dude. Yeah. No, I'm always curious about that. I'm the same way. I'm driven by losing. It's more or less not like I look forward to losing. It's more or less like I cannot stand losing. I think losing is the best thing in the world for you, but it's also the worst thing for you. Like hey, sorry. I grown up racing. Like, I can count how many times I've won versus the millions and millions of losses, but those fuel the fire and hurt more. Therefore, they push you harder. I think that winning is great, and I think people need to experience it, but I think you learn more from losing than you do from winning.
That's it. You learn, and that's why I always tell my friends too, like, I have a friend who's sitting on a podcast right now, and he like, it was this big boom of an idea that he had, and now he's sitting on it. And I said, dude, you're not going to learn until you do it. And even when I said, we learn every day. Right. So, and even when we lose, we still win, you know, cause you're learning more from the loss than you are with the win. And I think the win puts your mind in a different perspective, like almost like the I've made it. Like, you haven't, bro. It's a small win. Like, I would rather have 99 losses in that one win than 99 wins in that one loss. It's just not.
I think, I mean, don't get me wrong. Winning is everything. Like, that's what you strive for. Right. But I think I look up to one of my favorite racers of all time. His name's Ricky Carmichael. His nickname's the GOAT, greatest of all time. And he said this thing on a podium interview, and he was saying, you know, he had gotten second. He had come from like dead last and gotten second. And he was like, you know, champions are made on their bad days. Everybody can win on a good day, but the champions are made on their bad ones. And that has always stuck with me, and it always will, because that's 100% accurate. Anybody can go out and start a podcast. Anybody can go out and start a business. Anybody can go do that. What it is when you get hit in the face,
right?
How well can you recover from that hit to continue to move forward? That's when champions are made. That's when success is reached. Whatever success is to people, you know, that's when that stuff is reached. It's not through, because and nobody likes winning all the time. Like, I can tell you, I've won by 40 seconds. I've won by a minute. I've won by, you know, this close. And the ones that are more fun are from me coming from behind and triumphantly winning versus just getting out and winning. Like, it's great and it's easy, but you don't learn nearly as much because you don't have much to talk about. You don't have much to debrief. You know, if you got on here and your first guest was Gary Vee and you never had another bad guest again, you would just say that you're the best podcaster in the world. And then in 2 years, when someone comes up to beat you, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you, and then you're going to quit. You know, that is not the desired path. The desired path is your first podcast kills it. Your second, third, fourth, and fifth eat shit, and you got to figure out how to make it better. And then when you make it better, at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? I've made something dope because I've had to learn by getting my shit kicked in. You know?
Yeah.
You
have to understand too, that's like when people do get hit, it's like that at that split second when you're on the ground and you're wiping your lip off, you're either going to stay the fuck down or you're going to get the fuck up, and you're going to be like, is that all you got, motherfucker?
Yep,
because you better be the latter. You better be getting back up and looking for more, because you're not just going to get hit once. You have to understand.
And if you're not, I think the misconception with life nowadays is like, if you're not a fighter, you're a shitty person. I don't think a fighter is instilled in everyone. I really don't think. I think
I don't think
it
it is either. Well, that's being an entrepreneur, right? Like you're either an entrepreneur or you're not. And you know what I'm saying?
I think personally that it can be taught. It takes a lot longer to teach versus being born with it. It's just like anything else. If you have a natural talent at something, you know, you're obviously going to excel a lot better versus somebody that has to learn the ropes and learn the correct technique and all that stuff. And I think it can be taught, it just takes a little bit longer. But no, I could not agree more. It's when you're down there looking up, you got to get back up and hope for another hit, hope for a harder hit, you know, and just keep moving forward. I love it.
Yeah, it says a lot about, you know, I think we all have to face some type of adversity in our lives to understand these wins too. I do believe without falling down, we'll still learn, but we won't learn as quick. And I feel like the sooner that one person does fall down, they will be stronger in the long run. That may not come for some people. Some people may not feel any of that. And that's totally fine. I get it. But if you're looking to grow in any way, shape, or form, and you're looking to blast the ceiling off this so-called, you know, ceiling of this world, which there isn't, like we talked about earlier, there is no ceiling to this thing that we do.
Absolutely.
Once you put yourself inside that box, like you need to hit on a little bit of adversity to break through that, you know, that ceiling to keep going. I don't think you're going to grow to your full potential without having some speed bumps in your life.
100%. Yeah. Nothing worth having is easy. You know, it's the long road of success. It's all the cliche that we always talk about, but it's always accurate. You know, if it's easy, and that's something that I'm trying to teach my stepdaughter now. Like, no, it's not supposed to be easy. Well, it's too hard. That's supposed to be too hard. It has to be too hard for you to learn or grab something from it. And then the next time we have this conversation, you're like, hey, I've done this before. And you're like, yep, that's called learning. And when you learn, you win. And there we go again.
And it's all the time.
It is. And it's a cool thing to watch, you know, from outsider's perspective, especially somebody young like her. She's 6. So it's so cool that you can, it helps me learn more each day, because if she can grab it, then I can grab it and have a better understanding too. So it's
right. And it's teaching both of you too, because then you may come across a different way the next time. You know, like you're always learning on something. And exactly what you just said is what you said before. We could put those 2 and 2 together, where you said, you've won by 40 seconds, a whole lap, and you've won by a second, or the best ones are from coming from behind. When you come from behind, you are learning every second. You're tactiling, putting those pegs in place for every lap, every turn. You're going to hit the gas harder. You know, you're learning every second to get to that win. That is the definition of why the journey is the best way it is, because you don't want to just go through it and be like, not have any kind of adversity. It's all that learning in between that you had to learn to get caught up a whole lap to somebody. You have to be a fucking genius to get back up there. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be picking them apart, man.
Yeah, the whole time. And it's just like saying, you can either stay in last, you can stay in 6th, or you can make it to the front and stay in the front. And I think that's life too. You know, like each day we got to put in just a little bit more to get where you want to get.
Every day. I love it. I'm for it. Always have to.
I got a question for you before we get off here, coming up to a couple minutes here. Somebody, I'll throw you in the hot seat. Let's do this.
Hold on. There it goes. Got it.
Got it.
Paused again. Stupid. The sunshine. There it goes.
Got you.
I'm ready.
I got you. Hot seat. Someone that wants to start and sell shirts. What would be a good first step?
Do it. That's the best first step to give anyone. Is it's never going to be perfect. If you have the mentality of if you're constantly waiting on the right time, it'll never show up. So my best advice is to do it, to get a design, get a designer, find a local screen printer, buy a heat press. I mean, there's a million different avenues to go down doing it. But the first step is to actually do it, is to actually vocalize, I'm going to create ambition threads. I'm going to create Anthony J everyday clothing. I'm going to do it. And once you speak it out loud, then it's the next step. So
that's awesome, man.
Always. It's just like, have you ever been cliff jumping before, like in the lake and stuff?
Yep.
Just like that. You get up to this 30-foot cliff and you're like, fuck, man, this is high. There could be rocks down there. I don't know where I'm at. I don't even know these people I'm with. And then right when you step off, it's instantly just like, oh my God, this is the sickest thing I've ever done in my life. And that's exactly how I equate everything to. It's always scary until you do it. And then you do it, and then you just figure it out.
I love it, man. I love it, bro. It's perfect. It's totally perfect. And as soon as you make that leap, it's like, why didn't I just do this before? Why did I have those doubts? Why did I have those doubts to begin with?
And then once you hit that water and you come back up and you get that scream out, then you're like, man, I'm gonna do a backflip off.
Yeah.
You know, always. That answer has it's taken me a lot to answer that question, because you always kind of want to go through the numbers of it, of like, well, you need to raise this much to do this, and yeah, that's all cool and stuff, but like, everybody can raise money, everyone can come up with something cool, everyone can do this, but it really takes, like you said, it's like your friend with that podcast. Everybody can come up with a great idea. I promise you, every person in the human race is capable of coming up with something smart and genius, but it's the execution part that what separates them from the boys. It's how I view it. It's how I personally view, just decisions like that. If you don't do it, it's just an idea, and everyone has an idea,
Awesome. I love it, man. So T, where can everybody find you at on social media? How is everyone to get their hands on some of this dope ass Ambition threads?
I am an Instagram junkie, so it's Ambition Co on Instagram. Or if you enjoy, I haven't been posting a lot on my personal, which I've just been busy and not into myself, but I'm gonna start getting back to it again. Underscore Tylor Gentry. It's Tyler with an O because my parents hated me. Tyler with an O, Gentry, underscore Tylor Gentry, Ambition Threads Co. We're on Facebook. You could find me I'm actually on LinkedIn now. I've actually grown quite fond of LinkedIn. Just Tylor Gentry, Tyler with an O, and ambitionthreads.com is, it's pretty cool. We got a facelift coming soon. We got a lot of cool shit coming. I'm pumped.
Good, man. I'm pumped for you, but thank you so much for being on the first episode of Coffee Talk, my man. I really appreciate you.
Oh, no. Cut out again. I appreciate every single moment. I learned something from you, whether it be a small nugget or giant nuggets, every time I talk to you. So it's been great.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, T. We'll talk soon, bud.
Yeet.